Hey everyone, this is Louis7 and I am streaming the Lord of the Rings Online Update 30 beta today. Now I do want to mention a few things, and perhaps one of the most important is I honestly do not know much what I am going to do today because I am not the biggest fan of playing betas. Y'all have probably seen that with like the Update 28 beta and the Update 29 beta. I'd only played them for maybe an hour just to look at new stuff. I don't really like doing questing or going through any of the content, so it's kind of hard for me to have stuff to actually do sometimes. So that is something I want to mention. Also, it has been a really long time since I have played LOTRO. At least for me, it's been a long time. It's been over a week, almost 2 weeks, I think, since I've actually sat down and played, besides actually getting that Update 30 beta video out and doing some missions for that. So it will take me a moment to get back into the rhythm of actually being in the game. So my character is actually stuck in the new zone, not really stuck, but somewhere in the new zone. I was just traveling about randomly, looking through it a little bit this morning, and this is Azenobolzar, which is the name of the new zone. It is 3rd Age 2799. And I want to say hello to everybody in the chat, Mistweaver88, who was here before the stream started, and Subby, Pawa, and Kyle Erasmus. Hello to everyone. And yeah, I was kind of thinking a couple hours ago when I was thinking what I would do for the stream. That is when I realized I honestly did not know. And hello, Luis Santos. Just because I don't really do too much in betas, but there are a few, I guess, exciting things to kind of look at. Besides just looking at the zone, I'm definitely interested in exploring the zone a little bit more than I have. I've basically gone from the camp here, Amdan, to the east and up, circled around to wherever I am, the Mirromere, and looking at all the landscape changes I think would be interesting. In addition, there are all the class balance changes that I'd be happy to talk about, or even play some of those classes, maybe run missions and the such. So there are a lot of possibilities, I guess, of what I can do. So it would be helpful if anybody watching this, because it is a stream, if you all want to see anything in particular with this beta, I'd be happy to explore it, because I don't really have all that much planned. Again, I'm trying to pull up the notes just to see what all we have. I think this will have most of it. That should have all the class changes and the such. Oh yeah, there has been a new update to the beta since I made the video. There's a lot of different things it looks like. I remember this patching, the Brawler launcher patching. So it looks like there are a few new changes. I'm going to try, it's been a while since I've streamed, so I'm going to try to show this. Let's see. It'll take me a moment, but I'm going to try to show the patch notes just so we can go through them. Maybe this will work. That does not really work too well. Let me try to shrink that down a little. I do not know what is wrong with that it makes it look like that, but we will eventually get somewhere. Also, this is zoomed like way out. Maybe this is the best way to read it. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the chat and we can actually look at the notes together a little bit. I don't know exactly what is wrong with this window. Okay, maybe that'll work, just so it's full screen. Anyway, also hello to Seriondo and Hakuri Tai. I am very bad at names. You asked what are the hunter changes, and I have not actually seen any hunter changes. Durin's Bane, that does look like it is the name of the boss. That was something I wasn't 100% sure, but I think it is that Balrog. Durin's Bane is the boss of the new raid. So balance skill work, it looks like they still have the same thing. There's this thread for that. These notes, this is really large text. I'm not used to looking at text this large, but hopefully it's easier for you all to see as we look through this. It doesn't look like there is all that much new. There's some new reward gear, so new essences, cloaks. We can look at all that stuff in the Isengard Tavern. I would be interested in just seeing what that looks like as a possibility. And the Brawler, as far as I know, they have not announced that it will release with Update 30, but I suppose it is possible. Here are the class changes. These are the same ones. Actually, I do see a couple new things. Okay. Yes, there are some new changes, and it does look like Hunter has some changes. So let me go through. We'll start with, I guess, the top class and just see if there is anything different. Yeah, all that looks the same with the Beorning. Burglar looks the same as far as I remember. Captain has some changes, I think, mainly down here. So it looks like they had an unintentional change that I never even saw, and they have a lot of buffs that are now going to be raid-wide rather than fellowship-wide. That's interesting. That's actually going to be really nice. There are a lot of situations where I have raided with a single captain, so it's been kind of hard to decide which fellowship the captain is going to go to, and for people that are in the group that's not with the captain, I can sometimes feel bad for not getting those buffs, so I think this would actually be a welcome change to me, at least, having the captain buffs raid wide. Yeah, with the Brawler, I'll get more on that in a moment. I think there are some interesting things there because they have added new stuff, but I'll try to remember to talk about that a little bit later. Relentless Assault grants some finesse. I don't remember exactly what that is, just that it is in the redline trait. It looks like they're giving a general bump again to a bunch of skills. This is a weird one with Blindsided. It caused players to move into melee range with their target if combat movement assist is active. I'm not sure what that combat movement assist is. Hail of Arrows trait, so they just have a fix there. Lore Master, it looks like they are keeping these. All these look the same to me. Yeah, the same boost to the stuff. Oh, looks like the Lore Master might cause a little bit of less lag with Lightning Storm here. Apparently that still said it costed morale even though it didn't actually. Yeah, it looks like most of this stuff is the same besides those couple of changes, but to go on about the Brawler, I do not believe it is on Bull Roar, but it is interesting enough that because there have been a couple of comments about it, I will go ahead and check. There are just some new things with the Brawler. Looks like I would have to unlock a character slot, so I will just delete a random character. I copied every single character I have, but I do not intend to play any of them. Most of them, actually. So as far as I know, the Brawler, yeah, it does not look like the Brawler unless they can't be humans. They did not put it in the notes, so it does not look like the Brawler is in this beta. Let me log back into my Warden, who is my only level 130 here. But with the Brawler, there are a couple new resources, and I realize my screen is all messed up, so that should be fixed now. But there are just a few changes, I think, to their skills that you can look. There's an add-on you can use, and I always forget the name of the add-on. I should probably install it myself at some point. But you can use that to look at some of the data in the game files, and there are some additions and changes, I guess, to the Brawler skills and some items, armor hints that could be upcoming for Brawlers and that type of stuff. Item Treasure, yes, that is the name of it. One thing I noticed right away is my FPS, it's not like constantly at 60, but when I logged into the beta last night and this morning, I was having really low FPS, but that does not look to be the case right now. That was actually a big concern for me, that this might be a super laggy zone, like super low FPS, but that does not appear to be the case. The area I'm most interested in exploring is going to be up to the northeast here, because that is the new, what I really consider the new area of this update. I'm also curious, it says to Eregion there, it's grayed out. That would be really neat if they actually had a connection outside of Moria to Eregion. So Eregion is right here, and there's the Redhorn Pass, which goes maybe to the Vales of Anduin / Lothlorien area. I wonder if they do have a connection though. This is going to be the non-Third Age, or I guess it's still Third Age, but the current version of the Dimral Dale, which does have all of this. I don't know if there's an actual path, if there's any new content, if there are any enemies, if it's just landscape, if it's blocked landscape. I have no idea. That's something else we could explore. the level 60 version of the Dimroll Dale, but if I try to go, I wonder if there is any way to go besides, if you go to the map you can go Tales of Yore and then Azanabulzar. But yeah, that would be neat if there is a connection. A connection through Tal Caradros. That is possible with the Vales of Anduin. There's also Zarek Ziggle. I don't know exactly where that's supposed to be, but that would be an interesting, if it's actually something they could do, somehow connect Zarek Ziggle from Regen to the Lothlorien Dimroll Dale area. Let's see, Misty Mountains is over here. That is totally different. And yes, that is the new Lothlorien map. Lothlorien itself, the regular Lothlorien, not the new Azanabulzar, it has a new map as well, and this is what it looks like. But we will see if there is a connection. If I can get to Regen again. I feel like I'm moving very slowly, but that might just be because it has been a little while since I have played. Tal Caradros, I am not familiar by the name of that place, if it's in Regen or not. For some reason that just makes me think of the Dunland place. I don't think it is, that's Tal Methadros, but the Tal name there. And Sauce Bros, I've seen you comment on a few of my videos, but I have no idea how to pronounce your name, so if it's not Sauce Bros, let me know. And yes, I actually did make a video on that. I think you might have commented on that. But yeah, with the legendary items in endgame, there were quite a few comments on that video about how people don't like that as well. We also have the new animations for the skill icons. I like the animations except for the toggles. So any skill that is toggled active has the little white spinny thing, and to me that's a little bit too flashy and sometimes hard to see depending on the skill. So that is in this beta. I think they talked about potentially adding a toggle. I don't know if that's a setting that exists right now. As far as I know, it does not, and I probably shouldn't be fighting all these enemies. There's a good chance I just die like that one. My intentions are to just explore the new area rather than get killed by a bunch of orcs. That's why I need to go to the Isengard Tavern and get myself all the good gear so I can just run through those guys a little bit easier. It's also going to make my journey through, I do plan to do a journey through Azanabulzar video, but unlike Wildwood, I will have all the enemies in the zone aggro to me, so it's going to be a little bit harder to do a video like that. But yeah, eventually we will get to checking all of this stuff. I do have another comment about taking a break for like a little over a week again, almost 2 weeks from streaming or doing any videos. It is really weird just talking almost to myself. It's something after doing videos, commentaries, and all that sort of stuff for a while, I'd get used to, but it's like the first video or first stream after taking a break. It just takes a moment to get used to, I guess. There are orcs everywhere here. Does not look like this will be as safe of a path as I was hoping. It almost looks like on the map though, there is a road right this way, but I do not see it. According to the map at least, it does look like I can go straight up there, but that does not appear to be the case on the landscape. So we can try. My keybinds on this character are also a little bit weird. I think I'm in the medium war steed and just have sacrifice at shift 2. But yeah, with the war steed, I think I can safely run through the camp as long as I do have sacrifice up. Maybe safely. The fortunate thing is this is a beta. It's on the Brawler server, so I do not mind spending 15 mytho coins to revive. I could even go to the LOTRO store, or I could just die right there. That was a little bit unfortunate. I guess all the fire damage. I don't know if we should give this a minute. I honestly have no idea where the resurrection stones are, the resurrection circles rather. I have no idea where those are, but maybe I can give a minute for the fire to die down. But yeah, this is the exact problem I was talking about with this zone compared to something like Wildwood for just exploring it, because all the enemies are active and all that. Alright, we will do Never Surrender and just try to survive. I have a bunch of potions and consumables I can just, like, use. Yeah, Louisden will have to wait to get his revenge for when this actually comes out. That's another thing with betas though, just killing mobs in general, they would be counting for deeds or something if I was doing this in a live server, but all the progress I make, any sort of progress I make for even just killing a single orc or goblin is kind of wasted in a way because it doesn't stay to the character, of course, because it's just on the beta. And it makes sense that's the way it works, but that is another reason I'm not the biggest fan of betas always. Alright, I think we are mostly safe. There is Lothlorien. I wonder if Lothlorien does look the exact same or not. Also, that is really weird with the mountains over there. I would hope that is fixed at some point, but I don't think mountains are supposed to look like that. I don't know if it's a rendering issue with I just have to get closer to it, or what the deal is there. But Lothlorien looks pretty neat from this angle up here. I really do wonder if Lothlorien they changed the landscape at all, or if it's the exact same. And if it's any different if we went to like the level 60 version of this, what it would look like. Something over there looks like a little valley or something. That would be interesting to explore, but I don't know if that's something we could get to today. I don't know why, I just felt the need. I guess it was popping up the icon there, but felt the need to go ahead and do that. I'll get me some Virtue XP. Another thing I could use is my Hope tokens there, and my Max Morale and Power boost. And Tome of Defense. I really don't have to worry about any of that stuff because it is the beta. It feels weird to just freely use consumables and spend all my stuff as I wish. Now this is actually pretty clear. There's an orc camp up there, but it's pretty clear besides some dead bodies on this road. And I really like snowy zones. It's nice to have another snowy zone, and it seems like the entire zone is actually during a snowy season, I suppose. I don't know if the Dimril Dale level 60 version is also entirely snowy. I would hope it didn't change too much in regards to that, but having a version of the zone that Xenobles are be snowy is nice. Yeah, there are a lot of mobs on the main road. That happened to me going up this way, I believe, and through this camp, so you'll have to work your way through. This one is fortunately just dwarves. Looks like these dwarves are training, or at least listening to a motivating speech or something. Yeah, with the War of Three Peaks, that's an interesting note because there were tons of mobs on the roads. And I could definitely see that being annoying, but I overall really like the zone, so I think it's just something I kind of set aside as being a feature of the zone. I didn't really consider that zone to have roads, is kind of the way I ended up thinking about it. I just thought it was a big circle full of mobs, rather than a circle with some mobs and roads. Looks like there is a chest there. There are two people here. These are the first two people I've actually run into. Oh, and then you get stuck in combat. I kind of remember some issues like that. It seemed like I'd stay in combat a long time. I think the end of this road is going to be this camp right here. And once again, I'm going to have the issue. I need to get out combat tab. But I'm going to have the issue that there is a good chance that I just end up taking too much damage without fighting anything. It's something if I was up to my practices with this warden, I might be able to come back from a situation like this, but even then I don't think it'd be too likely. But again, the good news is just spend mithril coins. I might have one archer on me or something. or half the mobs that were attacking me. That's one problem. I just revived a little bit too soon there, I think, and now I'm going to fall and likely die by misadventure. Alright, cannot use mytho coins. We did not get to see that view, but that is okay. We got to explore that part of the zone a little bit. It didn't seem to be too much there, just an enemy camp. I suppose the next place to go is the Redhorn and see if you can actually get to Eregion at the Redhorn Pass. I'm not sure that you can, but that would be really nice to have a connection. One reason I don't think you would be able to, or it'd probably be a portal. I think either way it would be a portal, but the one reason I don't think you would be able to like intentionally design that way is just because this is 3rd Age 2799, but at the same time, if they have a portal to take you to Eregion, I don't think that would be a problem. Alright, this time I should be able to survive. I don't think there are that many enemies that are doing that much damage to me that I can't just run away and use some morale taps here. It's kind of odd for me to not actually be interested in killing all the enemies, but that is what I am doing right now. At least the morale taps are strong enough for, especially when there are that many enemies, to keep me alive. There's a lot of environmental battles going on here between the dwarves and orcs. A lot of them you cannot interact with, like these big groups here. There are a couple scattered orcs that aren't fighting anybody that you can attack, it looks like, or can attack me in this case. So another note is, as Xenobalzar is... Wait, what I mean is the Mirror is frozen over a little bit in as Xenobalzar. So that's an interesting, I guess, difference to look out for. If we show the map, just the regular Dimroll Dale, it does not look like it's frozen over at all. So that would perhaps mean Khazad Silver. Is that? That sounds like Khazad Silver just takes me back to when Khazad Silver was an actual thing in the Supreme tier way back in the day. But I'm guessing it gives Minas Ithil. I think I saw it say Minas Ithil. Whatever Skarn that is, Ithil Skarn. I don't know how I ended up using that morale tap, but all I want to do is just see what this Khazad Silver deposit gives. Now this character is a tailor and he is a Minas Ithil tailor. I don't know if there are new crafting recipes, but what I'm interested in is that Skarn. It looks like it gave me just chunk of Langflood Skarn, okay. Which that can, of course, just be turned into the Minas Ithil ingot. So I can try to get back on the road, but there's a decent chance that there are a lot of enemies there. Looks like there's a random quest right out here. King Thrain, he is out here in the battle, maybe? No? According to my mini-map, King Thrain is here, but I don't think he is actually here right now. So Watery Ithilharn will be the name of it. Oh, Watery Ithilharn, there it is. Actually, to go into my inventory. So that is a new gem, it looks like, for jewel crafters. So this is already at the Khazad-dûm area, which is Moria, which is also full of enemies. One of the missions I did was in this area, but I think it was the Dimroll Dale of the current times. I don't know, some of the stuff in this is honestly a little bit confusing in this update, just because they have the new missions, which are technically an Erebor somehow, but when you go to that, we'll eventually go to that place. I wonder if this is probably worth just reviving for mythal coins. But with the missions, they're scattered about the general area. Some of them even took me to Angmar, which was quite far away. I should be using my potions and never surrender. But we can just spend a bunch of mythal coins. That is so weird because I would never consider actually spending 15 mythal coins to do a free revive. That is quite a bit expensive to me. Okay, so this looks like it is the gate, or whatever you want to call it, to Moria. They actually do call it the East Gate. Wonder if you can go in. You sense a Balrog inside Moria, and I'm filled with dread. I assume the Balrog, that is going to be Durin's Bane, and this is the Fall of Khazad-dûm, so you do have to explore this. It looks like to get to the new raid, and that's all there is here. So that is good for that little exploration. Oh, it took me all the way back here, which I'm not sure that's actually all that far away. It kind of is because there are all the enemies that we ran into. This is a pretty dangerous zone. That much. I'm getting the sense at least that this will be a dangerous zone. Especially like when we go through this gates and there will be enemies right here again. This time I remember to put sacrifice up, so hopefully I can just run through and not have to deal with trying to survive all this, and we can follow the road again. I am getting a little bit more lag, but compared to when I was playing earlier, even the 40 FPS is nowhere near as bad as it was earlier, so I am a little bit more happy with the slightly higher FPS I have. Even if it is still not ideal. I find the landscape actually a little bit interesting. I don't know if there has been a zone with landscape like this. A lot of dead trees, but also in a snowy area. Okay, let's try not dying. Is that potion? Sometimes I feel like it would be faster to kill enemies, but I am not actually sure. I do have some other potions, it looks like. Just trying to attack enemies enough to survive, but it did not look like I was successful. Okay, so we are on track. This is the same ramp that is currently in the game. It of course looks a little bit different, but it's the same path that you actually go up to this area in the current Dimrildale. It looks to be a little bit clear. That's kind of odd. Just a little bit more clear up here. Kind of peaceful up here where there are no orcs on this ramp. There is a Redhorn goat there, which I believe a Redhorn goat is an enemy type, a mob type, also in Eregion. And we have a visitor. So this is the new view of the Azinabalzar mirror, and one thing I noticed is snow is randomly falling right there, just out of the middle of nowhere basically. No clouds or anything. Blowing snow would probably have to blow off something. So that's a little bit weird. I wonder if that is, I'm curious if that will stay when the update actually gets released, or if they will do something to fix that. The water looks, something about it, the texture looks kind of neat. And I'm making footprints. But yeah, that is that view, the waterfall up there. But yeah, so far, the Redhorn Pass area up here, towards the Redhorn Pass, I guess Thark Baraz is the name of this place, is a lot more peaceful than what we have had. I feel like I can actually take my time to relax while exploring. There is some encampment up there. I'm guessing that is not Moria, but that is probably Zarek-Azar. It's going to be pretty hard for me to pronounce the name of these different places. That is just a reality with all these different Dwarvish names and probably Gundabad as well, and some of the stuff we've seen in War of Three Peaks and Elderslade. It will just take me a moment. Yeah, this zone, it's a little bit, I almost feel like I could say it's not that good based on my initial experiences here, but that's just because I'm trying to explore it in the beta, not really questing through it or playing through it. So it's actually really nice. This is almost my favorite part of the zone so far, just because it's so peaceful for what I am doing, and it looks like it no longer will be peaceful. I spoke too soon. I should have known there would have been a bunch of enemies if I said that. This isn't as bad as earlier parts of the zone, but looks like we do not have a peaceful time anymore. It's not like it should be a peaceful zone, though. It's during the war, I think the 6th war between the dwarves and orcs and Moria or something is what it was called. In 2799, and I don't know how far 2799 was in the past. I think this was when dwarves were maybe attempting to retake Moria, kind of like they are now with Gundabad, but I'm not entirely sure. That's kind of what I thought regular Moria was like, and it looks like this is kind of running out of room. There is some stuff to the north. I'm just trying to survive these enemies, but when I am slowed like that and can't really see where I'm going all that well, and the enemies being assisted by my cat right here, it was a little bit hard to do that. Yet, at the same time, I am so far surviving. I'm alive. Use a potion. Keep getting these debuffs that slow me, and every time I remove my debuffs, it's removing something else, which is probably removing something more deadly. But at the same time, a slow might be even more deadly than like a bleed or something, just because that allows all these enemies to hit me a little bit more. We're getting to another interesting part of the zone, and another thing I've noticed, hello Subby Powa again, another thing I have noticed is it is a pretty dark zone. It is dusk right now, which means it is pretty late in the game time. Yeah, I have no idea how I'm alive right now. I feel like it's, again, been a while since I've played, so I actually feel a little bit rusty with the word, and I probably could have done a little bit better, but I don't know how I survived that long. The morale taps can add up. While they're not as strong as they used to be, they still can add up in how much they heal. Unfortunately, the Warden was not one of the buffed classes. Most of the buffs for classes was bringing the damage of supports up. I think Captain was the other one. Loremaster was the other one, and then Runekeeper not really as a support. They added some support elements to the Runekeeper, which I thought, it's a little bit concerning. There are actually a couple concerning things while I have my mind on that about the class balance update. Is there's the potential that they could be going in the direction of homogenizing all the classes and making them all feel the same and do the same thing. And that's one issue I've actually had with World of Warcraft lately, is it feels like all the classes do the same thing and don't really do anything unique. The way they do it is maybe a little bit different, and their class fantasy is maybe a little bit different, but when it actually comes to the gameplay, it feels like all of them basically offer the same thing. AoE damage, single target damage, like burst damage, all that sort of stuff. And that would just be a concern. I don't really see it happening with LOTRO, but that would be one concern I have. Yeah, ideally I would hope for all specs to be viable and have a reason to be played. And I think I mentioned this in my Update 30 beta video, but one of the things I would kind of hope with the balance work they're doing and maybe nerfing some of the supports is that you don't feel punished for not having those supports. They aren't like 100% required for the content. What is the best way to go about this? That's an interesting sky. It almost looks like an ominous green sky, but overall, I kind of like the look of it. It is probably still dusk time, so I don't know how dark it gets here, if it gets just this dark at night or what, but don't want to fall down all that way. But here's another view of the Mirror, which I believe has a different name that they had for it, Kilad Zaram. I will probably call it Mirror just because I think it might actually be Mirror. I don't know if I ever paid attention to the name of the lake enough to know it was actually Mirror, but I don't even know if that's the way it's supposed to be pronounced. But anyway, this is just another view of that and another view of the snow randomly popping in. And yes, the cat is back again. I think she got tired of not getting pet and left, and then realized she still wanted attention and to bother me and came back. The problem is I cannot see where my hand is to know what keys my hand is on, and I really did not want to step forward there. Okay, so I'm trying to make my way back to the road. It really looks like on the mini-map there's a way up north here. I think that's where I should be going. I don't know why I'm having trouble navigating this. This is the way I want to go. I don't know if it's possible to go this way. That would actually be the issue. I don't know if you can get up there. It looks like on the mini-map there's a house or something up there, though. If there is a way to get to that, I want to get to that. I just don't know if I can get to that. See, right here, you can see a little structure, some sort of house-looking thing. I thought I saw enemies up there on the mini-map. It looks like if I go straight north this way, yes, that would help. If I actually just go north, go back through the camp. I wonder what that chest has. Okay, I am curious enough to see what that chest has. It's probably a regular landscape chest, but maybe it will have something interesting. We can learn some things from it. I do not know. And honestly, again, it might actually be better just to kill things and could probably get through this a lot faster if I did that, but there's something exciting about just trying to run through things sometimes. Alright, I will try that strategy right here, even though I have a bunch of enemies attacking me. It does not take too long. If I actually take the time to use some of my attacks, it does not always take that long to kill enemies. I think I'm spec'd in the blue line just to survive things in general, so my damage is actually a little bit low. Okay, one more Warg Rider. These are the annoying ones. At least they're not mounted enemies. I think that happened in the update 27, 26, whatever the Mist of the Lothlorien update was. I think that would have been 26. I think that happened with the enemies there. They were actually mounted enemies. And then we're finally fixed to not be mounted enemies. The problem with playing games and my cat being up here is I often do not have a hand free to pet her. Okay, so we're finally making our way here and the road is blocked. There actually is a road. There's something over here. Let's see if I can navigate through this. I'm surprised that was not blocked. Maybe it is blocked, actually. Okay, it was not blocked to go under the gate, but it does look like trying to go past the gate is blocked a little bit. Oh. I guess my cat got annoyed. I was just trying to press on my keyboard. But yeah, it looks like there's no way through that gate, and I'm guessing this is where it would lead to Eregion and the Redhorn Pass. But I'm trying to find an actual path in the landscape. That is what I do not see, an actual path in the landscape to the Redhorn Pass. It just looks like they are blocking off rocks for some reason. I don't know if there's like a cave entrance there, as that's what they're heading towards. But it really looks like on the map there is a road straight there. Like this road right here leads somewhere. I was honestly really hoping they would have a path there, a connection to Eregion. I thought that would be pretty neat, especially since they showed it on the map. It goes like right up to it. One thing with Moria itself, there is a zone called the Redhorn Lodes, which is randomly in the southern part of the zone. I always felt like if you connected Eregion through the Redhorn Pass to Lothlorien, yeah, this doesn't really show it all that much. The Dimral Stair still looks the same on this map, but the Redhorn Lodes, the zone, it's kind of in the southern end of Moria, so it's not really under the Redhorn Pass is the way I'm kind of understanding it from the map, as I guess a random thing. There are very random trees up there growing actually on the mountain, the rocky side of the mountain. Anyway, that is all blocked, and I do think that is a little bit sad to me. I don't think there's another way. There's some stuff in the landscape here. I don't know if you can jump up there. It almost looks like you can. It looks low enough level that you could. So that is something else to explore. I don't think we've been up this way. We never made it to that house. I wonder if this leads towards that house building looking structure that I saw earlier. Actually rocks up here. And I think I'm inside a rock right now. Something happened there. This is a little bit weird. I don't know right now if I'm inside the rocks, but it kind of feels like it. Probably going to get myself stuck right here. Yep. Actually looks like I'm still falling, so I'm like extra stuck. I can try the stuck command. Unable to do anything for 1 minute. Alright. We unfortunately have to wait 1 minute, but one thing I can do is look at the balance stuff again. I think I did get this fixed where we can look at this a little bit maybe. Actually, looking over it doesn't look like you all could actually read most of the text. I'll have to get that fixed. I probably need to make a new scene in OBS and actually organize that stuff. It's been too long since I've used it to remember what actually works for that. But yeah, I'm wondering if there are any new notes, and it does not look like it. Oh, there's actually a new thing with the Runekeeper that I just noticed. Is they changed Frost Affinity to give 20% outgoing healing rather than force setting the bonus value to 20%. Okay, so that there is a plus 20% outgoing healing from Frost Affinity, but it forced the value to 20%, and now it just gives plus 20% outgoing healing. So that would prevent like other bonuses. It sounds like from stacking is the way I interpret that. But yeah, we're almost an hour into the stream, and I was not planning on this being too long of a stream, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours kind of tops. So if there is anything that anybody wants to see, just as a reminder, I'm pretty open to taking any sort of ideas. The one road I have not visited, actually there are two roads I have not been on. One is the path from Amdan to Zarek. I need to take a moment to actually read the name of the place before I try to say it. Zarek Azar. This is going to be a lot of that probably coming up It was a big concern with Gundabad, just me actually pronouncing all the names of these places, but Zerekazar. I have not taken the road from Amdan to Zerekazar up there. And this road is blocked. That's why I have not taken it. I kind of remember that when I went down here that it was blocked, so you can't even try to get to Lothlorien. So we do have one more road I can explore, and then maybe go to the Isengard Tavern, unless somebody does want to see anything in particular. I can go to the Isengard Tavern and look at just some of the rewards they have. If there is a group that tries to search for the raid on like tier 1, I wouldn't mind trying to run that. Usually I don't even like running raids or instances in betas, but it is a possibility just to go ahead and dip my toes into it and see what it looks like. We could even see what it looks like just booting it up. It is, I believe, set in, I want to say 1981 in Middle Earth time, which I think is when they were fighting Durin's Bane. I think the boss is Durin's Bane. I think it was confirmed, actually. I just remember we saw that in the notes. They had some note on Durin's Bane. So I'm probably running into a tree or something, but quickly just to look at what I actually said with Durin's Bane. Yes, Durin's Bane is going to be in the raid, and I think it's a one boss raid with Durin's Bane, but again, I have not run it and have not seen anybody say like it is a single boss raid with Durin's Bane. Actually seen that explicitly said, but it does sound like it's a one boss raid, and that is what I am assuming at this point. This is also a little bit of a peaceful road compared to what we've had earlier. The dangerous parts of the zone are around this camp, to the north of that camp and the west of that camp, and there's some stuff in Berezinbar up there, the Redhorn, and Cloudy Head. There's some stuff in Atrad Zarok up there. But this is a regular peaceful snowy zone moment in the western part here. There's also this connection. One thing we also did not look at, but I have actually seen in the game, is where it says to Rohan. That is not an actual connection, it's grayed out as well. I really don't like this zooming out taking you to Moria. If you could zoom back into the Third Age Tales of Yore here, with Azenobalzar, that wouldn't be a problem too much, but when you right click out of the map it takes you to Moria, and that's kind of annoying to me. I don't know where else it should take you to, but if you could at least click back to it some way, that would be nice. Anyway, that distracted me from what I was even looking at. Oh yeah, so Rohan. There is a road on the map that would take you to Rohan, but I'm not entirely sure how that would work. There must be some road, some connection that they could potentially make to go to maybe Fangorn Forest, but I'm not entirely sure on that as well, how they could work it out. Could even go to Wildermoor somewhere around here. Maybe it could go to Wildermoor through the Balewood, maybe. I'm not, and don't entirely remember what the Balewood looks like up there. I know it actually, you can drop down to the Eaves of Fangorn, I believe, and maybe the Entwood. But yeah, it would also be neat, just more connections. I would always be happy to have more connections, make the world feel a little bit more connected, have different zones feel more connected would be neat. Alright, so this is this camp. I really hope the cosmetic armor for this zone does not look like that. That would be very boring armor, in my opinion. They have pigs here. I wonder if there will actually be new pigs with this update or not. I guess this whole time I could take a travel. That would be a way to actually explore the zone and not have to worry about enemies, is take the non-swift travels, such as the one up here. I wonder how that would actually take you, if there's an alternative route, or if it would take you on the road the whole time. This looks blocked a little bit. Have to get off the Warsteed to try to navigate around here. Don't think I can quite climb up this mountain. Maybe a dwarf could, but not an elf right now. But this is just another view it looks like we get of the mirror there. So while a dwarf might be able to climb that little hill up there, I'm not sure a dwarf could quite fit through this gap. So I guess each of us have our advantages. There is a road somewhere, I think up here. And this road will take us back to Moria, but I have not seen this connection yet, see what it looks like up here. And that will be the final part for me to explore with this. There is also the new quest storyline with the Blood of Azog interlude that starts in Anak Curfew, but that is something I intend to completely ignore. It's one of those just like quest things I mentioned early on. I think that I don't like doing quests or anything like that, and it's not just to not spoil, but because my progress isn't saved or anything like that, I want to redo the same stuff, and sometimes things are incomplete, they don't even have all the quests done, and a lot of things like that. Looks like I got myself stuck again, but I might be able to get out, so I wasn't really stuck. I just need to find a way. Yeah, not doing this. There's Moria, though. We're right back at the gates there. I just took the... You might actually be able to jump up. Or not jump up, but go above Moria for a little bit. I feel like I have to go back up there just to explore that. Let's see if there's a quick way. Let's see if the... Control M glowing. What is he sending me mail for? Reflections of War. Aha, so that is going to be the new storyline. It looks like it might come. Yeah, come in the mail. I don't know why it took me so long. I completely lost my train of thought, but it looks like the new storyline, to start that, it will come in the mail. Alright, so what was I going to do? The collections map. Let's see if the collections map has been updated. There's Moria. There's Lothlorien. Mekambizuru. Iron Hills, Arid Mithra, and Misty Mountains. It does not look like they have the Third Age. It's the Third Age is the current age. I guess we're technically... I don't know if we're technically in the Fourth Age right now. I think the wedding between Aragorn and Arwen, somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but that like marked the start of the Fourth Age. Or maybe the ring being destroyed marked the start of the Fourth Age, but I think perhaps the events actually going on right now are in the Fourth Age, but the regular Lothlorien zone is in the Third Age either way. But this is just back in time. Tales of Yore version of this, but it does not look like there is. So Fourth Age might start when Gandalf leaves Middle-earth, and Bulat, thank you for joining the stream, and I hope you have a good night. Wow, Vales of Anduin really looks like a wide zone on this map. For some reason it always feels like a super narrow zone, but this makes it look like a huge zone. Like, it looks as gigantic as Mordor. Anyway, it does not look like it can actually see the new stuff in this map. So we will have to find alternative methods to quickly travel back to where I was, such as going to the stable master that's like 2 feet away from me. All that time I was looking at the stable master map, which is a neat map to just look at in general, but I could have spent all that time just going to this guy to go to Xar, and I am curious if I take the non-swift travel, we'll go on a little bit of an adventure. Adventure on a pig, which really still looks weird as an elf, and the cat is back. But we'll go on a little bit of an adventure and see where this pig takes us. I wonder with Gundabad if they're going to try to monetize it with Warsteed pigs. I wonder how many animations they would have to do if there was actually like a concern with animations for Warsteeds that they'd have to do different. I don't know if there are that many interactions with like mounted combat skills with your steed, but there could, I guess, be concerns there. I almost ran into whatever trap that was. I have to make a comment. I was trying not to make a comment on this, but it is unfortunate this zone does have some ugly bushes. They were getting a little bit too annoying now that I was taking the time to just actually look around. They were getting a little bit too annoying there. They could just have those little snowy bushes instead. Those are a lot better looking to me. Those ugly bushes, when they're tiny like that, they're not as annoying, at least. They could even have the little mini trees, which they do have some of those, but just replace the ugly bushes with mini trees. Something is causing lag right there as I was coming up that hill. I don't know if it's that camp. When I look at the camp, that's actually when I get a lot of FPS lag right here. I would guess in a lot of areas like this, it's just all the things it has to render with all the NPCs and just all the items and stuff, all the different textures. That seems to be whenever anything's really busy with stuff like that, such as Minas Tirith, the War of Three Peaks even, in places like this, that seems to be a cause for FPS drop, for me at least, a lot. Okay, I will try my best to not fall this time. That is a common occurrence in Moria, but should not be a common occurrence out of Moria. I almost fell into Moria, which I don't know. That seems like it'd be very thematic if there were actually holes at the top of Moria, where you could see to the outside, and could get to that part in the outside if you could fall in it. Okay, there's a path up there, but this follows the road. I want to follow the road for now, but we can go back if we have to get up to that place to the west. Right, I don't remember if this is where I fell last time. I think it might be. I might have gotten down there and fell, but just another lookout that we have. Unfortunately, it is nighttime. I really seem to like playing at nighttime. It is evening right now, which is somehow, evening is somehow before dusk. I don't know how that works, but I guess that's the way it is in the game. You can actually see that's something I didn't even pay attention to. You can see the camp up there. See a few fires from it. It is sometimes neat to play at nighttime, I will say, and this zone has a little bit of light from the sky at nighttime, but can usually see a lot better and just get better lighting during daytime. Alright, continuing on the road here, it actually extends up a little bit. I'm guessing this is another orc camp on top of Moria. Alright, this is likely going to be another time that I will be dying. I think I found the first troll that I have found, or seen at least. This beta, there are some structures up there. I don't remember. I guess that was a place you could get to. That's on the ramp up. A Dale Boar. I wonder why a Dale Boar is all the way up here. Like, that boar had to travel very far, if it's from Dale, to get all the way down here. I wonder if there's an actual issue with the way they implemented this zone and the enemies in this zone, because there's a reference to Erebor. They call this, there's a little, if I actually go to it, the missions room is in Erebor, but when you zoom out on the map, it takes you like down to Amdan, essentially. And maybe there's some like issue with that being called Erebor, and they have Dale, which is right next to Erebor. They have all these Dale animals here. Dale Wolf, I just noticed as well. And Dale Boar. Or perhaps there is no issue there, and that's just intentional, that we have all these Dale animals somehow traveling this far away. Silverneck Doe, I wonder if those are in an area like Dale Erebor area or not. I don't really remember. But it looks like the end of this part of the zone is just going to be mountains that you can't really climb up. I think LOTRO could be a pretty great game if they actually let you explore and go like on top of all these mountains and explore all the areas like that. If there was some mechanic where you could do that. Great Dale Moose, so yeah, more Dale stuff up here. Can go up above this camp a little bit even, but it does not look like there's too much interesting here besides a giant mountain that I can't really get on top of. I think that's the Silvertine. As far as I know, there are 3 peaks to Moria, which was kind of confusing when War of 3 Peaks came out. When I was doing a little bit of research into the Lord of the Rings stuff going on, all I could find was Moria had 3 peaks. So I think Redhorn is actually one of the peaks, if I remember correctly. There's Redhorn, Silvertine, and another one that I cannot remember. Maybe Cloudy Head would be the name of the other one. And Silvertine and Redhorn are both in the game. So maybe this is actually the Silvertine Peak. I do not know. But it's possible. There's a stealth Dale Warg now. If I drop down here, I'm still above that camp, so we might get a little bit of a safer view just to see what's going on here. Can see that camp a little bit better. But you can actually travel around this quite a bit. I was not really expecting that. Before I do that, I do want to take a look back. This is the camp we were at. It's got a neat look to it, I will say. And it actually glows kind of nicely, I guess, at nighttime. See if there's anything. They let you go all this way. See if there's actually anything interesting for going all this way. Doesn't appear to be anything in here. I don't know if I can actually get up this path. There's perhaps an invisible barrier there or something stopping me, just a little bit of choppy lag. I'm actually able to jump this decently. I was worried I was going to fall all the way back down. This is something back in the day. Wait, there's a path up here. Oh, we're on this path, so it actually does almost connect to this path. Wonder if you can actually jump up that and connect. You might need to get on your first seat or something, but I unfortunately fell down, but I think that kind of safely completes. Safely is probably a very bad word to use for our adventure there, but I think that completes our very unsafe adventure. And again, if anybody does want to see anything else here, do let me know, but I'm going to go ahead and check the Isengard Tavern and just see if there's anything interesting. I don't remember where I have any musters that can take me close to that. For all I know, I even have a muster in Thorin's Gate or something. I don't think I do, though. But it's something I never use if I do actually have that affordance. Actually do get a muster in Thorin's Hall. But I just clicked one familiar place on my tab. I believe this is the Stable Master. I have all the icons for everything hidden, which is probably not the best idea. And then we can go to Westbury and then go to Thorin's Gate from there, I believe, and that will take us to the Isengard Tavern. While I am traveling, though, I can go ahead and turn all the icons back on. Thorin's Gate. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned this. I kind of forgot to mention it because I can hardly hear it. But if you all hear background noise, that's probably my air conditioner. It's something just in the summer. It's going to be a little bit loud and blowing during the summer to cool things down. But hopefully with the microphone, since it is behind it quite a bit, it won't be picked up all too loud. Sergeant at Arms, not interested in that. I want to go into this tavern, which is usually mysteriously locked during regular times. Most people I've actually run into. Amlug. For some reason I thought Amlug was the name of one of the dwarves in War of Three Peaks. Maybe, but I'm guessing not, because she is a little human, I'm thinking. I don't think she's a hobbit, but maybe. She has town services, it looks like. See, it could be good to put bloody names on, but it's so busy. Saramongo? He looks a little bit like Saruman. 86 to... oh yeah, they level you up. All the fun stuff at Isengard Tavern that you can make your character really OP with. I forget what all they have here. Looks like you can get Scrolls of Empowerment, all that sort of stuff. I think there's also somebody that will give you Embers of Enchantment even. Bloody Threshold Raid Deeds. Oh, that even gives you the Virtue XP for them. How nice. So this character, Luiden, is basically a lot of entry-level 130 gear. Entry-level with the War of Three Peaks stuff, so a lot of upper 420s, mid to upper 420 gear, just randomly from running the content and not really repeatedly farming it or doing much of the higher tier stuff. But I am interested, once we find it, this guy had not the trait points, but during the update 28 beta, I believe, update 28 or 29 beta, I think the update 28 beta, yeah, update 28 beta with War of Three Peaks, that is when I found on the champion that Bobo had a quest for Brawler trait points. Back when that stuff was first starting to leak through the Brawler client. And yeah, the Tavern Keep is a bear. That is kind of interesting. He is the Tavern Keep, and for some reason he gives trait points. I guess he hugs you and that gives you trait points. So he specializes in giving grandiose gestures like trait points. Yes, that is very grandiose. If only there was a quest like this in the actual game. That would be a very great quest. Dwarf holds instinct gear. What is Dwarf holds? 120? Mounted combat. He doesn't have anything for me. See if I can get Virtuous Elf. Do I really not have that on this character? Wow, I still don't have... I don't have 2 trait points on this. Not trait points, but 2 racial traits. I think I have... yeah, I have all my trait points now, of course. But I think I have all of them. I might be missing one from the Midsummer Wedding, the Great Wedding on this character. Traveling traits. Composer. All this stuff is not helpful. I'm just getting distracted by everything here. You can barter for a fiddle with anniversary tokens. Alright, so I have made a full circle and have not found anybody with gear. Throne of Dread Terror raid items, Anvil of Winterset, that is 120 stuff, I think. NPC complete. I have no idea what he does. Non-player complete? I do not know. Instance discovery deeds. Alright, we got the Bloody Threshold raid gear. I don't know if this would have the new stuff though. That's Amdan Damal, Shakalash. So this is all the War of Three Peaks stuff. Tier 5 trigger essences, it looks like. I do not have on this character. Eventually I will find the person I'm looking for. It's taken me a long time though. I get too distracted again by everything. Virtue rank up. Let's go ahead and rank my virtues up. Why not? See, now Luiden can be a little bit stronger. Maybe I could survive that stuff a little bit better now. Okay, I feel like I've talked to the same NPCs over and over. Maybe I will look at the notes they actually put. I thought in the notes about... Oh, I have to find that again. I thought they put in the notes somebody at the Isengard Tavern would have the new gear. And I just have to look at who that actually was. Okay, I do not see that note anymore. Trotter has some new housing items. Some gear has been added to Edge Case. Okay, we need to look for an Edge Case NPC. I feel like I'm very bad at actually finding who I need to find, but their name is Edge Case. Trotter has some stuff. Treasure hunting emote. So Trotter has some of the new stuff. It looks like there's a Durin's Bane obsidian statue. There's some banners. It would be neat to have a statue of Durin's Bane. Hello, Patrick. There's also a painting of Durin's Bane. Yeah, I was actually, the text for this item, it says you wonder what artist chance to face this fearsome foe in the fall of Khazad-dûm. And I was wondering what artist would do that and then just take their time while they're looking at Durin's Bane to paint him. It's a little badger house. General Talug. That is somebody from Moria. Yeah, Phil Gashen. Pigpen. Training area warg. Oh, you can actually test your metal against a fearsome warg. I wonder if that's like a... What are those things called? Target dummies. And it's a warg or something. If only I had a house on this character, I could actually... There's a test something. I gotta look back at that. It said test Dayfile Snowy Elderslade. Dayfile ambient environment. Does it change your house? Dayfile Gladden at night. Does it change your house to look like a snowy Elderslade or something? It's the decoration category, ambient environment. I wonder if they are looking at adding some ambient environment housing items that could change it to like snowy and that type of stuff. I still have to find Edge Case? I think that was the name of it. It's right here, yes. It is Edge Case in the Isengard Tavern. There's something about placeholder. Okay, the icons and appearances are placeholders, but still have not found Edge Case. There's Vastin, who is one of the developers. For anybody that doesn't know, I assume a lot of these NPCs are named after developers and the such in their forum names or whatever, but Vastin is one I recognize, and I think Edge Case, the one I keep talking about that I cannot find. It is also the case with the little hobbit in the upper level when you come into the right. Okay, so we're going to come in again and go to the right. And we're going to look for a little hobbit. Edge Case, I think I saw him. There we go. That took way too long to find Edge Case, but this is finally the new armor. I feel like it's been half an hour just searching for this NPC. There's some new titles, it looks like. There's some new essences. I wonder if they will actually only cost 1 mark. I really doubt it. On hit, there is a 10% chance of creating... I wonder if these trigger essences... I am honestly just not familiar enough with what the current ones we have. Region of Damaging Flames. Region of Damaging Light. Region of Damaging Frost. That one just sounds fun. I don't know why, but frost is not the most common thing in LOTRO, so anything that does frost damage sounds fun to me, actually. Which is kind of the opposite. If I think of a game like WoW, which has a lot of magical elements, usually frost is a more boring one. So this one, creating a region of morale restoration, and this one is a region of power restoration. Yes, this is only on the Brawler server. It is the Isengard Tavern, which is in Thorin's Gate area. It is right next to the Stable Master, a little bit behind the Stable Master is how I describe it if I can actually get to Thorin's Gate area. So it is right, I think it's this building actually. If you look for that building, there's a door to it right behind the Stable Master area a little bit. Or not behind the Stable Master, but if you are right at the Stable Master and facing the Stable Master behind you. I actually could just walk outside. There's a tavern introduction. Oh, I didn't know if they actually told you what was going on here. Kyler, that is also somebody on the forums as well. Harmonixer sounds like somebody that does something with the music for them. Maybe sound effects and the such. See, floating names on really makes it hard to see stuff. Arbor has some essences. Looks like tier 8 essences and the such. See, there's just too much stuff for me to get distracted by. They have Mithrin essences. They have a lot of essences, but I don't think any of the new stuff. Alright, anyway, we can start looking at the armor, and that is immediately, comparing it to my armor, of course it should be better, but I just immediately noticed actually the amount of vitality and finesse on that. Quite a lot on both, and then 3 essence slots again, tactical mitigation, there's a crit rating one, tactical mitigation, another crit rating one. Oddly, I think it has less vitality and more crit rating. There's also outgoing healing one, it looks like. Yeah, I think I actually recognize that this is the same building as the Forsaken Inn, but it does make sense also that they wouldn't want to create something new. And I think if you actually go outside of this building, that is actually an odd thing, because this is a building. Can't actually go outside right here, I guess, or maybe if you do, no, that takes you to Alberg. Don't want to go to Alberg, but there's also even the painting of Weathertop right here. But yeah, it's kind of odd because it is a building in a dwarf area. That's a neat cosmetic. I have to look at what that is, but he's anonymous, so I cannot see. So anyway, there are new cloaks, new titles, there might be new stuff. Durin's Bane frame, let's look at what that looks like. Durin's Bane frame. That one's a little bit busy for me. Usually I don't like the big frames. I do like the look of it, but it's just a little bit big for me. And hello, Salmon Fire. I don't know if I said hello to you. I might have. So there's Khazad-dûm's Fall. It looks like just new armor that can drop from the raid. I think the cosmetics they said are placeholders, which is, I would really hope so because it's invisible essentially. But yeah, a lot of finesse. I wonder if the stats are placeholders. That seems kind of odd that they'd all have just finesse and crit then empty essence slots. I don't know if they fully have those set or not. That's kind of the interesting thing to actually look at, the stuff to look at in a beta. I feel like that is the interesting stuff, but see, they have this actually tabbed out a little bit. So if we go to Fall of Khazad-dûm Gear 2, this would be more DPS oriented stuff. I don't really actually see much of a difference. Like if I look at Agile Leggings here, I just pressed the wrong key. But if I look at the Agile Leggings here and go to Fall of Khazad-dûm Gear Plain 1, okay, that is actually the same. Never mind on that. Okay, so this has a second tab. And maybe that's what it is, the Defender's Leggings of Khazad-dûm's Fall, rather. it has incoming healing instead of critical rating there. There is... that person actually recognizes in my kinship on Arganstone, Infamous Potato, which I do not play with. I know that kin. I don't know where they are. Right there? No, not right there. But yeah, maybe with update 30 I will actually try to connect with that kin a little bit more. But every time it comes up, there he is. That's the problem with hobbits. I seem to have trouble finding the hobbits. They're just too small. But when I play with update 30, hopefully I can join my kin, and they aren't like completely full on all the raids they try to run. This is a little bit different stuff. I'm guessing that is the Minas Morgul armor. But yeah, with checking out this armor, it's probably getting a little bit boring. I hope it's not too boring with the stream. It looks like the viewers are still doing okay, but that is about all I really personally had to check besides Lothlorien itself. So I might try to get mithril coins. One of these guys gives mithril coins somewhere. Armor vendor, I'm guessing this is all the old stuff. So yeah, this is like level 85 light armor, medium armor. I wonder what this armor actually is. If I just open this, I don't have enough room to do that to even see, but somebody here gives mithril coins. Which I saw earlier, but do not see right now. Various class items. I wonder what these class items are. Looks like they have all the scrolls and carvings and such. At least a lot of the lower level ones. There we are, this person. I want a mithril coin allowance. Okay, got that done. So we can go to the Dimral Dale in regular Lothlorien, see if there's anything much different here. The landscape is what should change. So if we look around, I wonder if there are any new quests. That is one thing that is not in the notes. And I don't really expect there to be too many new quests, but with the new area in the zone, if you can actually travel there and this into the Cloudy Head towards that area, I wonder if they would have anything new or just have it completely blocked off. But this is what it looks like. It kind of looks the same to me, actually. Besides some of the more off in the distance changes, maybe. It's kind of hard to tell without the lake being frozen, actually. There is the gate to Moria. That might actually be a little bit different. But I'm not sure what all you can access. That's something I'd be interested in going ahead and exploring and seeing what is all there. Maybe like this encampment, if we can actually get up there. I don't know if we can. It does look like there's the structure up there still, though. Looks like they put an orc here. Yeah, it does look like you can go up here. They added some enemies. But it would be neat if they added some new quests to the area. The zone already, this part of the zone already has tons of quests and you can easily outlevel the content, I believe, but it would be neat to have some new quests in this new area that it does look like you can explore. It does get all snowy up here, which makes sense. It's not currently snowing, but it's full of snow, and this is very peaceful compared to the Azinabalzar zone. This is definitely very peaceful, not having to worry about enemies at all because they are all level 60. Looks like some orcs made it into this camp, which used to be run by dwarves. It also looks, I can't tell for sure, but I think it's a little bit more ruins looking. Like it actually is destroyed. I don't remember it being this destroyed when we came up here. I can still travel north. It looks like the landscape is basically the same. There's the difference in environments and enemies and all the such, but the landscape itself does look pretty much the same as the Xanables are. Again, a lot quicker for me to actually travel through. I feel like I can take it in a little bit more. It's very cloudy over this way. I wonder what's going on. They just have it cloudy right there. Somehow survived that fall, but yeah, I guess it's supposed to be clouds coming off the mountain there. It actually does say in the mini-map that it's the ruins of Zarakazar. Right, so I guess the next place to check would be the Dimral Stair. And then I can maybe use a mithril coin to travel to that camp and see if there's anything much different looking on the Lothlorien side of things. And I think that valley I saw earlier in the other zone, if we go to actually just look at Xanabalzar, the valley I was looking at I think was actually that orc camp that we do have in Lothlorien right there. Feels like this is a good way. We had so many things going on with so many different enemies, but it feels like a good way to start wrapping up the stream a little bit more of a peaceful run through this zone and just see the differences in the landscape. The waterfall, I don't remember what it looks like. I think there is still a waterfall there, but it maybe looks a little bit different, more pronounced. I'm just paying attention to it a little bit more, I guess. This honestly looks the same to me. It might not be the same, but it looks like it used to me. The lake still has that really low quality reflection. I think even during the daytime it was reflecting the night sky for some reason. It was really weird with that lake, but it seems like a bugged lake. I wonder if they will fix the graphics with that. I don't know if there is anything they can really fix with the graphics. I just feel like it's an area with some bugged graphics. This looks the same sort of. Yeah, this looks the same still. Definitely does not look like it did in Xanabalzar. Where in Xanabalzar, if we go there on the map, it had the path that went down here, but then it kept going up. There's an orc camp, and then it teased a path to Regan, which is not actually in the game in the zone. Alright, so the next place to check, I did want to double check, but I don't see anywhere else I could go here. The next place to check is down by this camp, so I will once again go to the collections tab. It's something I don't frequently actually use this to travel. You can use it, and I think you can spend 1 mithril coin if you have discovered the location. 2 mithril coins actually. It's a little bit expensive to travel, but it can be very convenient, especially in a beta where you can just get as many mithril coins as you want and don't have to worry about actually using those. But yeah, I'm curious if anything is actually different in the Lothlorien side at all, the Lorien side of the Lothlorien zone as it is with Lothlorien and Dimral Dale. This part looks different, but again, I don't know if it's something that I've actually paid attention to in the past, but it somehow does look different to me. Looks new to me. Maybe that is more the way I should be saying it. It looks new to me, just because it's something I haven't paid attention to if it does actually look like this in the game. There's a path right up there and it just leads to the same place, so we can cross the river here. The Nanduhurian. So I need to cross at some point. I don't know if I've already gotten to that point, but I do need to cross at some point over. This is that little ruins area that we saw It does look like they've added this. I don't remember this looking like this. They have that orc camp there. That orc camp has always been there. That is a usual thing that we have always had, but these little pillars and ruins that we see right here are new. And the bridge here is also new. And it does look like they let you cross that with an orc brawler. I don't know if there are actually orc brawlers here, if they were already in this area, but I feel like it's a tease just for the brawler class, of course, that is upcoming. They're adding all these brawlers, or there are all these enemy brawlers in the game. And then they're adding the brawler, but the brawler class I expect to be different than all the enemy brawlers we are seeing. Oh. Wow. Just kind of skipped right down, ported down. I have to go back up there. I didn't see a way that you could actually cross that bridge, but I don't know if I needed to. I tried to stop, but went a little bit too far. And I guess as we get towards this area, it would be nice if you could actually go up in that area. But I'm not sure you can. I just got myself killed. But I'm not sure you actually can do that. Let me see if this has a swift travel. We can try that one more time, maybe. But to do some outro type stuff, Ekad and Distill, I think that's where I want to go. With future content, I am honestly not too sure exactly what I will have going on with my channel the next couple weeks, because it is just unknown to me what my schedule will work out like. But I do want to point out that a lot of things are going back to in-person. Where I am in that means a little bit less flexibility, I guess, with my schedule, because sometimes I can spend like my lunch hour actually somehow working on videos or thumbnails or something like that, and if I am not near my desktop or anything like that, it's a little bit hard to do something like that, as in can't do it. So there is the potential that some things could be slowed down actually by that, but I am not entirely sure how that will work out, but it is something I did just want to point out. So Lord of the Rings War in the North, I'm not too familiar with that game. I have at least heard of it. This looks really weird with some texture stretching. Somehow got the rocky texture going all the way up. That's even the case right here. It's faded a little bit more, but really stretching up there. That's weird. But yeah, if that is an RPG, I don't know if it is. That is something I've actually thought of. I used to not really be a fan of RPGs. I liked MMORPGs, but not regular RPGs. I almost feel like nowadays I'm the type of person that could actually be more into RPGs. Especially after trying, there was the game Breath of the Wild that I enjoyed. After playing a game like that, I think I definitely could get into RPGs. Alright, try this one more time. This character portrait is really bothering me. I just don't like the ones that just take up so much space like that. So you can play with that game, it sounds like Elfdorf or Dunedain. Guild Wars 2, I have played Guild Wars 2, but I wasn't really a fan of it overall. I played it, I think that game's actually getting relatively old now. Oh, if we take the path to the left, that would help. Looks like this does have the regular steps. I might have already gone up this way, actually. Might have spoke too soon. We might have already done this before. Yeah, let's see if we can go left here anywhere. Don't really think so. Most of that is just rocks. I was hoping to be able to go up there while it's a little bit more peaceful and not so many orcs to deal with. This might actually lead somewhere. You can go up here pretty decently. So far I have not had to cross that bridge. The broken bridge. But yeah, with Guild Wars 2, it's just a game that unfortunately the gameplay to it doesn't really appeal all that much to me. There are some ideas from the game that I certainly think I could like, but just the core gameplay I've not found to be fun, which I think is true for a lot of more modern MMOs like that. I prefer the older gameplay style that like LOTRO has in WoW, for example. And while Rift has not really, I even played it I think earlier this year, and while it has that same gameplay style, it's actually an example of a game that I have not really been able to stick with all that much. Alright, so there's just a giant wall there. I don't think they want you crossing that river and going up and exploring that area in the Dimral Dale. You have to wait until you get level 130 to go to Azog and go back in the past till you can actually go up there, is the sense that I am getting. It's kind of neat though. I actually kind of like that they don't actually have this as an area you can go to in the regular Dimral Dale, while it would be neat. Am I going the right way? I am actually able to cross this bridge. What bridge did I have trouble crossing earlier? Maybe you can go up all this way. I feel like I'm speaking too soon about a lot of things, but I could see the idea of it actually being blocked off as like a tease for if you are familiar with it, Xanabalzar. But if you're not familiar with it, Xanabalzar, it's not really all that much of a tease. Here is the bridge, right? This is not a broken bridge. I don't know where I got stuck on that broken bridge earlier. And with this, you can actually see that valley there. There are huge mountains. For some reason, they have just like these huge mountains. If y'all were here during the walkthrough as Xanabalzar, they had the huge mountains here, but for some reason they are not here, like they aren't supposed to be in this zone. And that valley that we were looking at earlier is that orc camp that is in this area, which I should be getting to, at least my lore master, whenever I get back to him in Lothlorien. I think I've done 2 or 3 parts on that mini-series. We could go to him, but it does look like you can explore this. But anyway, the point of the thing I was talking about with this being blocked off, if it actually was blocked off, if you somehow were familiar with as Xanabalzar, it's almost like a tease. Like, it just wants you to get to that level 130 to actually go there. But if there are no elements in the game for you to actually know that that's even a thing, I don't think it would quite work out like that. Really, restricted area. Oh no, that is not good. Why is this a restricted area? That's even worse. I feel like that's a really bad solution. I feel like one of the bridges should be broken or something. Now I'm in Thorin's Gate. Yeah, I would much rather the bridges be broken and just not let you go there than let you go there than be a restricted area and you get ported out. I am not a fan of that, and hopefully it changes when the full update comes live, but that's just my initial thought on getting ported out there. I did not like that. And I guess that brings us to a good point to actually wrap up the stream. If there are any final requests for things I can check, do let me know, but I believe that is all there is. So yeah, still no connection. There is the Misty Mountains connection to Vales of Anduin through the Goblin Town-ish area. But still no connection to Eregion. I think Kidzul Claw almost feels like it could lead there somehow. Maybe that would even be up near Pen Eregion or Trollshaw's area near Giant Valley. But no connection between Lothlorien and Eregion yet. And as Xanabalzar, the whole thing with that is there's actually the road leading to Eregion near the Redhorn Pass, I assume. But no connection there. There is one final thing I can do, maybe run a mission. I do have the other characters, some of the classes that were buffed. Perhaps I can go on the Runekeeper, because I really like the Redline Runekeeper. It's something that has been weak for a while, and I'm hoping the buff makes it feel a little bit more viable, especially if I consider one issue I run into actually when I'm considering playing alts or something is if I consider playing my Runekeeper versus my Warden, often what happens is I think about how low damage my Runekeeper does and how it doesn't really provide much to the group. Now, I can heal on my Runekeeper, and if we need a healer, of course I can do that, but just in general, I think I end up with the feeling that I wouldn't be carrying my weight as much as if I were playing my Warden. I don't feel like I'm contributing as much. So maybe with a Runekeeper buff, I feel like it could be contributing maybe a little bit different than my Warden, but actually be impactful, especially if I had like another Warden in our group or something like that. I wonder if there are any more rewards here. It looks like there still aren't actually rewards. And Brawler does not let you create a character at max level, but you can go to the Isengard Tavern and there are just a few NPCs you talk to and you can get to max level, and you can also get your character equipped like fully with gear at the Isengard Tavern and get all your trait points, racial traits, virtue traits, all that stuff maxed out. So you can create a maxed out, actually, max level character eventually after a little bit of work. And thank you, Alanodare of Gondolin, for upgrading your membership to the silver tier. I do appreciate that. I forget which it's been too long since I've looked at it. I forgot what the silver tier is, but yeah, I do appreciate that and the support of the content. And Vladimir, you asked how the game is now and if you should come back, and my initial reaction to that, Respite and Zarkle Saloon. Let's try that one. Zarkle Saloon. Where is Zarkle Saloon? This honestly looks like Anak Curfew, like the War of Three Peaks, the Anak Curfew building in War of Three Peaks phase of the Eldersley Zone. Okay, let's not try this mission. I think I actually did briefly look into this mission when I was getting some of the gameplay for my video earlier. And you like interact with the NPC, then some spirit or something comes out and you kill it essentially. Defilers in the Dale I've already done. I wonder what the Dale, they say Defilers in the Dale, but I think it's Dimroll Dale. I was talking all this about Dale, and it is called the Dimroll Dale. I think that's what all these like Dale Wolves, Dale Boars, where the name Dale came from. Securing the Redhorn. How about check that one out? I wonder if this will take us to the Azanable Czar version of Redhorn, or what? This is Lothlorien, so this is the level 60. And that's why I'm a little bit confused with these missions. What all is going on with them? Because this takes you to the level 60 version, the current version of this, and I actually cannot jump up there. Those are level 60s. I must be facing the wrong way. There we go. I have that all cloudy for this mission. Anyway, with the Fire Runekeeper, I believe the skills that were buffed were Scathing Mockery. This is an interesting skill because it is very weak, at least in the current state of its balance. But I think now it might actually be strong enough that it's worth using even in relatively short duration and AoE situations. It used to be weaker than Fire Ridicule, but my initial guess based on these numbers is that is no longer the case. They each have 7 ticks, it looks like. So you have the 7 ticks with a minimum of 70k on Scathing Mockery and a maximum of about 70k on Fire Ridicule. Now, Fire Ridicule does stack up to 3 times, but even the initial damage is going to be higher on Scathing Mockery. It's something back in the day I used to see Runekeepers use it like a lot, even in shorter fights or just fighting one mob kind of like this. So it's just something I picked up on a lot, but I'm not sure the case anymore that is the case anymore, that it's like super, super weak. I also believe Essence of Flame, the damage on that was buffed, and unfortunately I don't know the number for this Runekeeper, like what the skills used to do. That's something I probably should have looked at, just looked at the damage for all these skills. But ultimately the hope is that Fire Runekeeper, I feel like a mission is not the best content to actually test any sort of balance, because usually missions are super easy, and I think this character has the Valor gear, which just makes him extra strong. I thought I had all those quests already filtered. They were still popping up for some reason. So Elenadir, you got the Rohan item set for housing. I don't know what Rohan item set you're talking about, honestly, but you have a LOTRO Rohan Tavern guild, and it's in Eastfold. I think Eastfold, if I remember correctly, that's one of the housing neighborhoods. I'd have to actually look at Rohan again. The problem with the Rohan housing to me is it just reminds me of Rohan a little bit too much. And I'm not the biggest fan of Rohan. Eastfold, there's a housing neighborhood, I want to say right here, and another one right here. The look of West Rohan, I don't think the world building is all that bad in West Rohan. So having a housing neighborhood there because of that, looks like we secured it. I didn't even have to click anything. Somebody wants to run the new raid on tier 2. If I did that, nobody searched for a group, but that was an open possibility for today. If somebody searched for a group with that, I wonder if Combustion, the damage on that has been adjusted. It looks relatively weak. I almost feel like with the Runekeeper, I haven't played it all that much, so my opinion might not be fully formed on this, but my initial reaction with the Runekeeper and the update to them actually is they just made the strong skill stronger, and I almost feel like they could have made the weak skill stronger. They did we already covered Scathing Mockery a little bit and making that stronger, but one thing I'm just noticing is Rid of Fire is pretty low damage. And I know it's something that's supposed to do like damage over time and all that and be a little bit supplemental to your really strong skills, but the way I feel is it's so weak that when you aren't using something like Smoldering Wrath, rather. There's so many names of skills. It's been too long since I played a Runekeeper, just getting things mixed up, but when you aren't using Smoldering Wrath, it just feels like the damage is super weak, and that's kind of how I feel with Loremaster, and I'd hate for Runekeeper to start feeling the same way. What I remember about it in the past, which may not be 100% accurate how it was, but that was that the damage over time skills were not all that bad, and outside of your high burst damage, you could still put out some decent damage numbers. And I will say that Fire Ridicule does seem a little bit better. It seems to be relatively decent. During the upcoming raid test, Tier 4 will not be available due to a major bug. Yeah, there are upcoming raid tests. I know if I were actually to try to do that, I'm a little bit early. That was a nice crit there. But the main thing I really feel like is Rid of Fire can maybe be a little bit stronger. That seems to be the biggest thing. Distracting Flame actually does relatively decent damage over time. I don't think I realized it did that much damage. It's not that much damage, but like not that much damage compared to the stronger stuff, but it is better than I actually thought it was. I just think Rid of Fire is the really weak one right now. And Combustion is not bad, but the damage over time effect it applies is actually due to Rid of Fire, and I think that's why I initially thought that was a little bit weak. And it's really hard for me to tell with this character and this character's numbers just because I don't play him that much to, again, know the actual difference. And getting back to the chat, Elena dear, you said that your Rohirrim house has... Okay, so it has the replica of the Throne of Rohan and that type of stuff. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with what all that stuff looks like, unfortunately. Sounds like it would be neat though. I usually with housing, maybe I have actually been securing these the whole time. I don't remember clicking them, but I've done enough that maybe just this one I had to click because we're getting a counterattack type thing. But usually with housing, I pay more attention or enjoy visiting other players' houses since I don't actually have a house. Yeah, Rid of Fire. That used to not kill things all that slowly. Okay, so now we need to go down to the final encampment. It seems like these missions, based on my brief experience, is slightly faster than the Wildwood missions, but slightly slower than the War of Three Peaks mission so far. Continuing down here. So the Rohirrim housing items are going to be new. Okay. Are they new? I'm curious if they're new in this beta. If they added some new stuff or if they're just new in general. I don't follow the housing stuff too much again. Usually my housing trips are to people in my kinship, either visiting their house for something, or my kin island has a lot of useful stuff actually, so it can be very convenient to travel there. Right, this might be a time that we can cast that on that little orc, but it might be a time I can finally use a Scathing Mockery and actually feel some use for it, and then use Combustion. Get the exciting fire AoE stuff going on. That's one thing I always liked about the Fire Runekeeper was the AoE, but that also has not felt too strong as of late. Helps when you have a tank to aggro stuff for random level 60, 59 orc here. Oh yeah, for the Lothlorien, the EU role-playing server, I would bet that housing is probably utilized more by players. But alright, we got through that mission. I guess I can talk to the NPC, but I think it is about time for me to wrap up the stream. It is... We've gone actually a couple hours. I'm surprised we made it this long, just because, as I mentioned at the beginning, there was not that much that I really wanted to test, but we just explored all these stuff, and I had fun exploring, even if it was not that safe as I mentioned earlier. Again, the mission rewards don't have those, so this is what I was talking about. This is technically in Erebor, I believe. If you talk to the mission recruiter, this is like going to be the Erebor place. We have some random deep claws there behind glass. That's actually neat. They're really mad at that rock, I guess. But ooh, when I zoomed out earlier before this particular patch with the beta, which I guess, I don't know if it's technically considered build 2, it's still phase 1 of the beta. I don't know their technical names for it. Preview number 1, it's still preview number 1, but it's like the second patch, at least the second patch. For all I know, it could be the third or fourth change they've actually made in the beta. But it used to be when you'd right click out of this, it would just take you to the Tales of Yore, as Zenables are, and when you went here you could see your little player thing there. But I think you're technically in Erebor somewhere with this, but I don't think there is a door. I don't know if you're actually in Erebor, around Erebor, Dalelands area is what I meant, but I don't think there is an actual door. Oh, there is an actual door. Never mind, there's an actual door that takes you to Erebor, and we're in Akraz something. So it's right up here. If you actually want to physically go to the mission room, I don't know if this has always been here, but it's Akraz Zahar, and these will be the Erebor missions, which take you all over the Moria area, it looks like. Even all the way as far as Ingmar. That is probably the craziest place I have gone. Misty Mountains as well, but Ingmar's even like farther away than Misty Mountains. High Crag, that sounds like an Region thing maybe. No, that one's Misty Mountains. It's Frostheart, that one does sound like Misty Mountains. You are to travel to the gates from entering Mount Gundabad. I have to check, just see where this one is. I wonder if they'd be entering Mount Gundabad, if there'd actually be something in the west because of Gundabad. But yeah, this one takes you to Elderslade, so I don't really know what's going on with the missions. But we're at Gundabad here. And maybe the new storyline with the Blood of Azog will give some hints as to what's going on, but right now, it just seems like a bunch of random things. Oh, Scathing Mockery does have a long induction. I meant to hit another skill rather than that one. Yeah, Rune and the Easterlings, there are just so many possibilities for after they get done with this whole War of Three Peaks Gundabad stuff. Harad, Khand, Rune, I think all of those could be interesting. I would doubt Khand is the next one. I'd guess if they went to Khand eventually, they'd probably do both Harad and maybe even Nirn before that. But Easterlings with Rune, I think there could be some interesting areas, whatever that huge lake is. Much bigger than Lake Evendim and much bigger even than this one. And all the other lakes in the game, essentially. I would be interested in exploring an area like that. And actually filling it in with more detail on the map to know what the landscape actually is like. Right now it looks very desert-like, almost kind of waste-like, but I think that's just because it has not actually been filled in. Like, this is a drawn map style, they haven't actually filled that in. But yeah, I'll go ahead and maybe just look at a little bit more with this mission, but to get to some outro stuff, I will say what I have seen of this beta. Again, I haven't done any of the questing or content besides a couple of the missions here. I think it looks like it could be promising with the questing. I hope the questing is fun. That is the thing that matters, of course. With a zone like that, it's really busy and hectic. I hope the questing makes it fun, because as somebody was mentioning earlier, I believe it was Mistweaver, it is a really busy zone that could be annoying because there are so many enemies on the road, but hopefully it works with the questing, because that's what I thought with War of Three Peaks, is it was fun with the questing, even though that was similarly busy. I know I'm playing the Runekeeper very, very badly right now, but it's just the way it is. It's been too long since I played this class, and even if I know the skills to use, it's just the keybinds. And not having played a game for a while, besides the couple of hours we have done today and a few missions I did earlier, it has been a while. And it's mainly the keybinds with my shift bar. I am not used to that at all, especially the fire. I have not played fire with this many trait points at this high level. And having all the lightning skills and a couple of runestones and some utility stuff up there, I'm not used to. Just not used to it in general. If I get to play my Runekeeper more, or feel the actually want to play my Runekeeper more, not just get to play my Runekeeper more, but if I want to play my Runekeeper more in the future, maybe I could actually get more used to it and maybe even make a more optimized setup for myself. There's really not much. Oh, it looks like the raid test begins. I wonder if people are actually raiding. Nobody in World Chat is talking about it. I assume there are some kins and the such doing some stuff with that. Infamous Cappy. I feel like that has to be, there is that player I ran into. There's Lansu. I am guessing that is one of the developers or somebody. Maybe one of the raid developers, actually somebody working on classes and that type of stuff. Is observing the raiding going on. I don't know if my kin on Arkenstone would actually be doing any of this stuff. I think my kin, a lot of people in LOTRO, I just don't think, unless you're more dedicated, more hardcore, would be interested in doing stuff like this in beta. Kind of like I am not that much interested, but it would be maybe neat at some point to do a beta raid like this. I think it would be possible potentially, like when my kinship on Honor, when we catch up to the live servers, but I still don't know if anybody in my kin would have interest in that. I don't think the majority of people there would. But anyway, I think this is a good point to wrap up the stream. I think there was some interesting stuff. Just to cover some of my overall thoughts, I won't get distracted by the gameplay because I'll just look at the map. Maybe. My overall thoughts on the zone is very cluttered and crowded, kind of like the War of Three Peaks phase of the Elder Slate zone, which I thought was really fun. So it does have that potential. It does have some more peaceful areas, more peaceful stretches, so it does give you a little bit of a break in areas, but I could see the travel being a little bit annoying, maybe depending how the quest flow works, but hopefully it is overall fun. That is going to be what is important with the questing, and I'm excited to explore that. We have not looked. There's the new story stuff going on, and actually and at Curfew is where you'd start it, so I'll be interested to see what that looks like and where that takes you, how close we actually get to Gundabad and all that. I think it's like an interlude, kind of like Shades in the Swamp with Blood of Azog there, and of course doing the new raid. Hopefully I can connect enough with my kin on Arkenstone and run that and see how that is. I think again it's just a one boss raid with Durin's Bane. I don't know how long the fight is, if there's any trash fights or anything like that, if it's almost basically like the Turtle raid where it's just the boss and that is it. But as far as this stream goes, as my cat is getting into something, that is actually going to be all I have. As a brief update, I guess I didn't actually talk about the next couple days. I probably won't have anything tomorrow, but I am hoping to be back Sunday evening with something. Not entirely sure what, but it probably won't be more Update 30 beta since I've basically done everything I'm interested in doing with that. And I'm hoping to get some work done maybe on some videos tomorrow, because I have actually a few I recorded before my little break that I did not get around to editing. Maybe can look back at those and look into recording more stuff and maybe doing a journey through this zone to have a more concentrated video just focusing on landscape and world building and environment and all that sort of stuff going on in Azanabulzar. There we go, Azanabulzar, and looking around that zone. But that is all I do have for real with this stream. I know I've said that probably like 5 times now. But with it, I hope you all did enjoy it, and I hope it went okay with me getting back used to doing content. I know every time with like a break, it feels very weird to me getting started with doing a stream or video again. So things should get back more to normal and hopefully a little bit better and more consistent with the content. But that is where I will leave you all for the stream, and I do want to thank everybody for joining and chatting, and Elena Deer for upgrading their channel membership to the silver tier. And with that, if you all did enjoy this, please consider liking and subscribing for more, and thanks for joining and chatting and watching, everyone.